Awesome. Let's start, everyone. Tēnā tātou katoa, e mihi tēnei kia koutou. Nau mai, haere mai, whakatau mai ki tēnei hui. Ko tainui ngā puhi, me ngā te rangi ngā iwi. Ko Sandra toku ingoa. Morena everyone, and welcome to our online session today, Pepeha, Why and How to Do It. A special thank you to Talitha for coming today and presenting to us. I'm of Tainui and Ngāpuhi descent, and my name is Sandra Halfano, and I'll be hosting today. A special thank you also to Zeducation for funding this online session today as an ongoing commitment to tikanga Māori and te reo Māori. For those of you who may not be familiar with Zeducation, Zeducation is a workplace training arm, and we believe in unleashing the greatness of all people through education. So thank you very much for Zeducation support. Before we begin today, we'd like to start with a karakia, and I've invited Kololo to begin with our karakia. Thank you, Kololo.
Kia nai tātou. Ngā mihi o te rā, ki te whānau o huhui nei, kia tau te rangi Māori e, ki whakatapua tātou, me ngā mea, e whakapona ana tātou, humi e, hui e, tāi ki e.
Kia ora, Kololo. Before I pass the time over to Talitha, I would like to do just a brief introduction. Talitha is of Ngāpuhi descent. She is a wife and mother and a keen advocate for families. She currently works at the Papakura Marae as a lead professional and social worker. She has recently graduated with her bachelor's degree in bicultural social work. And in and amongst many of her qualifications and certifications, just to name a few, she has completed her certificate in sport business management, te reo certificates, tikanga certificates, and also leadership and management, to name just a few. So it's an awesome and wonderful privilege to have you, Talitha, and to share your knowledge and experience with us. So thank you again, and we're looking forward to our session today. I'll pass the time over to you.
Kia ora, everybody. Hutea te rito te harakeke, kei hea te korimako e ko, hakatairangi te arere ki uta, rere ki tai, nau iki mai he ha te mea nui o te ao, mā kue ki atu, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. Ko te mihi tuatahi ki te atua, ko te whare utu nei tēnā koe, ki te papai waho rā nei tēnā koe no reira tēnā korua, i ngā mate haere, haere, haere atu rā, kia tātou ngā kanohi ora, tēnā rā koutou katoa. Ko pūtahi, te maunga, ko wai arohe te awa, ko Ngāti whakaeke te hapu, ko Ngāpuhi te iwi, ko kaikohe te kainga, ko te kotahitanga te marae, ko te ngao he te wahi tāpū, ko pau toku whānau ingoa. Ki te taha tōku māma, ko puke tapu rawa ko maunga tūroto ngā maunga, ko wai arohe te awa, ko Ngāti rangi te hapu, ko Ngāpuhi te iwi, ko taia mai te rohe, ko taia mai te whenua, ko taia mai tōku tūranga waiwai, ko hauai tōku kainga, ko e koro kia tūtoki te marae, ko Watling tōku whānau ingoa, ko Talitha Matiasi ahau. Ko Matiasi tōku ingoa I naia nei, nā te mea, ko Max Matiasi tōku tāne pūrotu, no hāmua ia, nā nei, ko Matiasi tōku whānau ingoa. So kia ora, everybody. Yeah, my name's Talitha Matiasi. Quite the introduction, Sandra, thank you. But yeah, I hail from the far north. On my dad's side, I come from a little town called Kaikohe. And then on my mum's side, I come from an even smaller town called Ohaiwai. So they're definitely, you know, along the lines of if you know, you know. And they're from up the far, far north. I carry a Samoan last name because I married my husband who's from Samoa. He's from two little villages called Moka'a and Nofuali'i. So we whakapapa there as well. Well, my babies do. And I currently work at Papakura Marae. So in te reo Māori, he kaimahia hau ki Papakura Marae, e rua oku pōtai, He kaimahi a hoki whānau and social services. He lead professional a hoki ātia hoki. So those are the two roles that I have. So yeah, I've just come to share with you a little knowledge about Pepeha. And I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you get something from it. And if you have any questions, please just raise your hand or button. I don't mind, as long as you're asking some questions that'll help you grow in introducing yourself and stuff like that, then that'll be great. So yeah, please participate if you have anything to say. So the first question that I was asked was, what is Pepeha? Does anybody have an idea themselves of what they believe or think they know what Pepeha is?
It's like a whakapapa, like an establishment of introduction, I want to say, when you go to meet someone or go to a marae and you introduce yourself and say, hey, my name is so-and-so and I'm from here, hoping that you'll make a connection to that marae or
Beautiful.
to the people that are there so that you can connect on like the same level, on the same ground.
So yeah, it's definitely that. I think what we get wrong a few times is that Pepeha is an introduction of ourselves, but it's merely to make connections. The way that I was brought up was that if you're going out there to introduce just yourself, it's a form of whakahihi, which means pride. If you look at it from the context of Māoridom is a collective, so I didn't get to where I am today all by myself. I didn't get here off the backs of my tūpuna, and I don't acknowledge them. You know, so it's, if you look at all of your own goals and all of your own aspirations, and then look at the why behind your goals and aspirations, you'll see that most people's whys are connected to their whānau, or are connected to their people, or connected to their family. So you can't go out there and say, hey, I'm Talitha Matiasi, ko Talitha Matiasi tōku ingoa, and then not acknowledge all of your tūpuna who had gone before you, or, you know, the whānau who are holding it down at home for you whilst you're trying to obtain your degree or your studies. So we never ever, that's half the reason we don't introduce ourselves first. It's primarily the reason we introduce all of our landscapes, all of our ancestors and all of our tūpuna before we even introduce ourselves, because it's a form of humility, and it's a form of respect and acknowledging your heritage. So yeah, so I think that's where it's probably getting a bit lost, is in Pepeha. It is a unique way to introduce yourself, but it's also a respectful way to acknowledge everything that you're connected to as well. The other thing is that I don't want to offend anybody here, but whānau who are not Māori have been connecting to local waters and mountains as their own, and that's not necessarily how it should be conducted, because you're not Māori, and or if you are, then go 100% in. But like the structures that I had put together today for everybody is a structure that our non-Māori whānau can use to introduce their hapu and their whānau, because you got to show respect to your own people. Like if you're Samoan, then man, you know, honor them, honor your Samoan heritage. If you're Tongan, if you're Pākehā even. But what we've been noticing lately is that a lot of our whānau have been, look, I live in Papakura, but we've got a lot of whānau who are non-Māori who are pepehaing to Pukekiwiriki, which is the local mountain here, or the waters here. So this little template that's come up is the structure for our non-Māori whānau in order to do their pepeha. So I can give an example of what that may look like. So tēnā koutou katoa. So hello everybody, greetings, I guess in general. Ko ingarangi te whakapaparanga mai, which means England is my ancestry. But, however, engari, ko tamaki makaurau te whenua tupu. Auckland is where I grew up. Ko whāngarei te kāinga. Even though I grew up here, I still consider whāngarei my home, or where I grew, like where I find I had a lot of great experiences, so I call it my home. No whāngarei ahau, hoi anō, or again, engari, I am living in kei Papakura au e noho ana. I'm living in Papakura. He kaimahi ahau ki Papakura marae. So this is your job title or where you work. Ko Talitha ahau. So we just made it nice and simple, but you know, it's the right way to pepeha for our non-Māori whānau. And then I also have a template here for our whānau who are Māori that are looking to excel in their own pepeha as well. So I wanted to just do a bit of storytelling or a bit of history. The reason that what I was going off before is a lot of our non-Māori whānau are whakapapering, if that's a word, to landmarks that are close to them right now, if they live here in Auckland. And the pepeha pattern is your maunga, your awa, your hapu, and then your marae, you know, your iwi, your hapu. So the reason that it's done this particular way with your maunga, your awa, then your people, and then your home, your whare, your marae, is because it's in line with the water cycle. So there's a water cycle that Māori have, I guess, used as a life cycle in order to really understand, like in order to have their place of being. And so when you look at that particular structure of maunga, awa, iwi, hapu, the reason that the mountain is first is because the word mo in maunga means to catch or to hold. And so when the water cycle or the rain falls or the snow or the sleets or the hail, whenever it falls, the maunga catches all of that. And then the water will flow into all of the awa and into the moana, hence the reason that's the second. And then the life cycle from there is that it then nourishes the land, and then it nourishes the people, and it gives people life. And then inevitably, the water will then evaporate and it'll go back into the skies again. And then that's the life cycle. That's the water cycle. Hence the structure. So it goes maunga, awa, then into the land or the hapu that you come from, then the people, and then your marae. So it's just a great understanding to have. Hence the structure of a pepeha for those who are Māori. But for those who are not Māori, but you are whakapapa, you are doing your whakapapa or your pepeha to a particular area, you haven't been a part of that life water cycle, so you can't whakapapa to that area. But you can use the structure to introduce yourself. Does that sound mean?
No, it doesn't sound mean at all.
Okay.
Absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
Afeli says a little. I had a quick thought there, Talitha, because I've been practicing my pepeha. I went on pepeha.co.nz and got their template. They ask you like a bunch of questions and you just chuck in stuff. And, you know, the structure, like you said, the maunga, your awa or moana, you know, what you just mentioned there makes sense because I haven't been part of the life cycle, but I use a template. I said Niu for always my maunga because we do have a mountain in Tonga and it's called Niu.
Nice.
But I wasn't born there. I was born here in New Zealand, and then I go my te manuko te awa. It's not connected, eh? It's not
It's-
connected
yeah.
there. So, absolutely makes sense now. But yeah, definitely for me, it's not offensive at all. It actually makes sense. So
Yeah.
I think I probably have to go back and maybe follow this proper template here.
So the thing is you can say tēnā koutou katoa ko hāmua te whakapaparanga mai, and then, oh, sorry, Tonga. Is that where you, because you're both, aren't you?
Yeah, Samoa and Tonga. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then you can, so that, yeah, this is the simplest form. But if you really want to acknowledge both sides, there's definitely, you know, structure for that as well. But you can also put in there your maunga from Tonga. Māori people love connecting, you know, and if they can say that they've been to your maunga, then they're going to tell you, because it's a connection thing. It's like, oh man, your maunga is beautiful, you know, and it's just a form to be able to connect. And so, yeah, add it in there, I reckon. But the part that's underneath the engari is all of the stuff that you would say because you're living here now. But everything before the engari, put that your actual heritage in that part.
So for
So,
example, sorry, Talitha, I have a question. So for example, like with Pasi, so would the same structure apply then before Engari, with their mountain, their awa?
Oh, yes,
Yeah? Okay.
yes. The reason that I haven't actually added it is because a lot of our whānau are either first, second, third generation born here,
Yeah.
and a lot don't know, especially the likes of our Pākehā whānau who have been here for generations upon generations. They're a part of our settlers. So, but for our whānau who do know, then yeah, that use the same structure because it's the same water cycle we believe for your people too. Yeah, so tēnā koutou katoa ko, I don't know, what was your maunga again, Pasi?
Niuwhao.
Niuwhao tōku maunga, ko moana nui a kiwa te awa, ko your village tōku hapu, o te hapu, ko Tonga te iwi, ko Tonga te whakapaparanga mai. The Tongan is my ancestry. Engari, ko Auckland te whenua tupu. So you can add, yeah, definitely add all of your heritage stuff first. And then go into where you are now.
Yeah, I was just going to add there, Talitha, the template that I used on pepeha.co.nz, like that was a pretty good one, but I also realized it was a pretty basic one.
Yeah.
So I spoke at Wellington at a national strategy conference down in Wellington 2 weeks ago, and I started off my pepeha like that, just really basic. And I saw all the our Māori people there respectfully looking at me, and they're just smiling like, man, you know, this Pacifica guy who's up here, who's introducing, starting off speaking te reo, that's really respectful. And I just had their attention in their hearts right from the beginning. But I think that was a basic one. That was nice, but I like this one here because it's a little bit more detailed and a little bit more meaningful. So I really like this one here. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, no, with hubby being Samoan, he's taken a lot of time into trying to learn his pepeha too. And he did it without me knowing. And then he would get a lot of feedback from his friends at work, and he would pinpoint who he thought was Māori, and then he'd get them to listen to his pepeha. And in the beginning, it was called Mount Richmond Tōku Maunga, which is over in Mount Wellington, I think. And then ko Panama Te Kainga, which is Panama Road in Otahu, you know, and then ko Panama Te Awa. But my people were Samoan, ko Hamua Tōku, no Hamua ia, aho. And so it was great because when he did that, a lot of the whānau that he was approaching were like, my brother, you can't say that you're from Samoa, but that these are your landmarks. because it doesn't make sense. So he would go over and go over. So it's been a cool thing, a cool journey for us. I guess being a trilingual home to really understand. But Māori would never disrespect anybody who are trying to genuinely speak the reo or introduce themselves or try to make a connection. But they would, I guess, create a discussion to say, oh, so I heard you're from Tonga, so let me help you a little bit here. You know, I think that's what they would do instead of embarrassing you. I think the embarrassment comes more from our bigger leaders within the country, particularly politics, who introduce themselves in an incredibly confident, but they're not saying the right thing. I remember going to a hui and a politician had gotten up and he was doing a tauparapara, which is like a chant, but it was not connected to the kaupapa that he was trying to, that he was there for, pretty much. And he ended up saying, my tits smell, you know, and in his tauparapara. And it was funny, but he was able to walk away saying, oh, well, I tried, you know, but he wasn't received the way that he thought he was going to be. But that was because I think people could feel his intent and could feel the genuinity behind what he was trying to say. So the other thing about Pepeha, sorry, just to got a few more minutes. The other thing about Pepeha is when you know your maunga, your awa, where you're from and who you belong to, and then you can also say that you live here and that you've learned here and that you also call this place home. That's great, but what we call that indigenous. So yeah, I can korero, I can speak my reo, I can say what I can say, I know where I'm from, but indigeneity is there's a difference. So the difference between indigenous and indigeneity is you've got to go home and you've got to learn your stories so that you can be proud of yourself and proud of where you're from. So that's something that like even though I can say my pepeha and I can connect to where I'm from and I know who I am, there's no point in all of that if I don't know the stories about where I'm from too. So for example, I live in Papakura, but I know a lot about the Papakura area. I know a lot about the maunga here, the awa here, the kaitiaki here who are like the guardians of this area. I know a lot about the people and where their bones are buried and stuff like that. But the thing is that's not my story to share because I'm not from here. That the hapu who live here and who whakapapa here, that's theirs. So I've been on a journey of going back to my own home to learn about my own indigeneity. So I'm trying to reclaim my own stories and really understand them. And I'm actually really proud of where I'm from. For example, Ohaiwai is a very little town. There's only a pub, there's a rugby field, and there's a school and one shop. So a lot of my friends who are from up there call it Blink Town. That's okay, because, you know, it is what it is, but I'm very proud of it. And it's where the Ohaiwai battle, Ohaiwai sausages, yes. But there's more to that. Is like the Ohaiwai battle took place there. And what's significant about this story is all of these people followed a man named Kawati, and Kawati was Honehike's right-hand man. If you don't know who Honehike is, he's the fellow who cut down the flags. So the battle took place against the British. The British had all of these flash machines and guns and all of that sort of stuff, but they were never able to touch the people because Kawati led them in trenches around the maunga that I actually whakapapa to, which is Puketapu. So, you know, that's just a claim or that's my indigeneity. So yeah, big difference between the two. But once you've started to learn your indigenous side, then it's important for you to also reclaim your indigeneity too. So that's the main reason for pepeha and whakapapa, because then you get to connect properly and then you get to really invest in other people. when you share where you work with Māori, they'll be like, oh, great. Can you help me? Can you help my people? Or, oh, actually, I know somebody who you could help. Can we refer you this way? You may have a commonality with people. That's why you share your pepeha, because there's commonalities that could be found or could be discovered. So those are the primary reasons we do our pepeha.
Talitha, we just wanted to we've got mindful that we've got a few minutes left, but we just firstly wanted to say thank you for helping us to understand the why of pepeha and how it works. But we just wanted to ask one or two questions. Firstly, if we are trying to construct our pepeha and we don't know anyone that that knows Te Reo Māori, what could we do to get some help with constructing our pepeha? What would you recommend, like people that we could go to, or even a website, or what would you recommend?
Oh man, to be honest, Māori didn't learn in classrooms. So the best thing to do is go out and talk to people. We're in New Zealand, there's Māori everywhere. And I know that if you've been raised and born here, you're bound to know somebody who can kōrero and who are passionate about te ao Māori. So go and talk to them, ask them questions. In fact, that's probably the best way to do it. Yeah, I'm not a big believer of .co.nz. So yeah, go out and talk, go out and connect properly and find somebody that you know would help you.
Wonderful. I know also of, which I've done it before, is we have a lot of pages on Facebook that are Māori focused, and I've often just put out questions as well, like little partai every now and then around that. So if that might be another suggestion as well.
Yeah, hard. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, awesome. And the other question I have is in regards to confidence. I know that confidence is a big thing with pepeha. How can we continue to be confident in sharing our pepeha, especially in our business environments as well?
Yeah, so honestly, a little method that I do is I don't listen to music in the car. I just memorize. I memorize in the car, and I learn little sentences every now and again. So one of the big things that I've just learned is, my job. So when I'm interacting with other professionals, when they want me to introduce myself, kia ora, he kaimahia hoki papakura marae. Like I can say it now because I've been rattling it off in my car whenever I drive anywhere. So it's just one method to go out and just keep memorizing, keep learning, keep doing it in your own little time that you have. So yeah, I've used time in the car to build my confidence, and then when I get the opportunity to do it publicly, my confidence is a bit better than what it was before. But the more you use it, the more you get confident.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you very much, Talitha, for answering our questions and also giving us an insight into pepeha today. We'll round it up today with a karakia, everyone. Once again, thank you on behalf of Zeducation for attending our online session today. And if I could please ask our CEO, Pasi Hauwhano, would you be able to give us our concluding karakia for today?
Sure, whānau, won't be in te reo, so mind me, not fluent yet, eh? English, Pākehā. Okay, let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we are indeed grateful for this hui that we've had online, for all our friends and whānau who have made time to be here, spend time together to learn from our sister, Talitha, and to have her impart some of her wisdom and knowledge and experience to us. And may we carry that and in our lives and apply it in ways that will help not only better ourselves, but serve other people as well. We ask a blessing on our speaker and all those who are here in attendance. Bless them in their mahi. Hope that they have an amazing week this week. And wherever they go and wherever they are, that there will be a a kind hand to others. And again, we're grateful for this platform, and we offer this karakia humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right.
Thank you, Pasi.